Hello and welcome from Mexico City, where the teams are getting ready for today's practice session here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I'm here with Anthony Davidson once again. Nice to see you, Ant, and I wanted to ask you about how you go about improving the car over the course of a practice session. How much would you say is already known from the pre-race simulations? And how much do you have to do, how much do you have to work on with a real car on a real circuit?
Well, that's a good question, Crofty, and I suppose the simple answer is that there's no such thing as too much information. As you say, the bigger teams have very complex simulations, vast numbers of clever people crunching the numbers back at base, but what they can't tell you is stuff like how the track condition's going to be, or what the temperature's going to be doing over the course of the day, and how all of that's going to be interacting with the tyre. There are so many millions of tiny variables involved in getting these cars around a racetrack quickly, but the computer can't tailor the car to a driver's specific balance requirements. At some point, you still need to put a human being in there and have them feel it through the seat of their pants. And that's why we end up with different drivers having different setups. So what I'm trying to say is, Crofty, nothing beats on-track testing.
What's up, YouTube land? Welcome back to episode number 37 of my F1 29 career mode, here today for the Mexican Grand Prix held in Mexico City at the circuit Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I think I got that right. Anyway, so as you can see, we had some parts fail on the car that we plan to bring to Mexico, so that's a bit of a shame, a bit on the chassis and a bit on the aerodynamics, so we're gonna have to wait for those until the next race in America. Hopefully it doesn't hurt us too poorly around this track in particular. So yeah, well, let's get into qualifying, and we'll see what we can do in our car. We obviously didn't have a great qualifying last time out in Japan, but we were able to pull off a miracle podium there and finish third in the end. I still don't know. I guess, yeah, but still not sure how that quite happened, but anyway, moving on. So this is our first lap in Q1, and coming through the last corner, going a little bit wide there, and now bring it back onto the main straight. We come across the line for a 1 minute 14.6, so not the best start there. As you can see, we're actually quite a way down the timesheet, and we're even slower than our teammate Giovinazzi, so that's a bit unfortunate. He's only a little bit quicker than us, but it's mainly the last sector where we seem to be losing our time, so hopefully we can improve in that area of the track. You can see, though, we definitely need to go again, as we are going to be knocked out here in Q1 so far. So yeah, we're looking to get maybe a 14.2, 14.1 kind of time to help us advance through to Q2. But yeah, not an ideal start to our qualifying. It would be a little bit more comfortable if you could be a bit further up the timesheets. So yeah, also it's a completely dry weekend, so it's not like last week in Japan where I was running a wet setup. We have our best setup possible on the car, and it's just at the minute it's not performing the way I guess we need it to around this track. It's probably one of my weaker tracks on this game as well, as we now come around on our second run. As we come through the S's, we were down early in the lap. We're now starting to recover the lap time a little bit, so it's not looking good. Whether getting into Q2, we're down coming out of the S's, and we're now back up coming into the stadium section. A tricky little corner this right hander is. It's got to use all the track, and now this hamping it so damn tricky on the brakes to not lock the front left wheel. We managed to avoid that there, trying to open up this last corner as much as possible, and the power as early as you dare, and hopefully the rear wheels don't spin up. We just improved slightly with a 1 minute 14.4, but that will not be enough, and we're actually going to qualify last on the grid, so that is really unfortunate. Not what we wanted to do coming here to Mexico. We wanted to have a much better result compared to last time out, but we're out in qualifying. You can see Albon through in the runner, but Magnussen out. Also out is Lando Norris. Giovinazzi, our teammate, Grosjean in 19th, and we're going to start 20th. So that's really unfortunate, but hopefully we can have a much better pace in the race. So without further ado, let's get into the race.
The air may be thin here in Mexico City, the atmosphere is anything but. The crowd have been chanting and singing, not just this afternoon, but throughout the entire weekend. There's a great love for Formula One here, and no small amount of expectation. Let's hope today's Grand Prix can meet it. We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and starting alongside is Lucas Faber. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Bottas, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty, and Lance Stroll, Verstappen, Gasly, Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Norris, Grosjean, Hülkenberg, the captain, and Antonio Giovinazzi. Fiat and Devon Butler starts from the back of the grid, and with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
Welcome everybody here today for the Mexican Grand Prix in Mexico City around the Autodromo Hermanas Rodriguez circuit. So I'm going to change the strategy here today. It's looking grim. We've actually been promoted to 17th due to some grid penalties for our teammate. And others, Kvyat's there behind us, I think, as well. And the other car, I can't quite remember, actually. Even though I was just looking at it, I wasn't paying attention completely. Anyway, we're going to move on to the hard tyres. And we're going to get that tyre out the way. I wanted to do the one stop. I remember last year racing here in Career Mode, I did a two stop, and then AI beat me doing a one stop. So we're going to do the two stop. And hopefully we can... our one stop, and hopefully that gives us the track position we lost on Saturday. And we're going to switch it up. We're also going to get rid of the hard tyre and hopefully be stronger in the second half of the Grand Prix. So that's the plan for the Grand Prix, as we have Hülkenberg just ahead of us here on the grid. So yeah, hopefully we can get a good launch off the line, and with these hard tyres, I don't know, it's going to be very difficult to do. So anyway, the revs arrives, the tension here in Mexico City. They're all looking out for their local hero, Sergio Perez. What can he do here today? However, we're ourselves back in P17 on the grid. The revs rise here in Mexico for the Grand Prix. Let's go. And a really poor start here. You can see on the hard tyres, the tyres just haven't got the purchase or the grip off the line. It was actually Devon Butler, the other guy. And they're all gotten past us in the turn one. Now, we don't know what to do here. We're looking to go down the middle, but Butler comes over on us. We brake early. We now move to the inside. We go back down the inside of Butler and Kvyat into turn one. And we're now trying to go around the outside. It's 3 wide. Yes, it is 3 wide. I didn't know that at the time of racing. And we gas up the car on the exit, and we lose that place to Butler and Kvyat coming into turn 4 and 5. Now we're going to go around the outside, maybe, yes, on the brakes. Very nice indeed. Actually, Kvyat's going to come back at us around the outside, but we're now going to have the inside position for this double right-hander. He's still going to try to go around the outside. He probably had a bit more grip, but we had the position on the line, and we now take P19. Yes, unfortunately, P19 is what we're fighting for here today on the opening lap here in Mexico. You can see though that little squabble, and I realised straight away on this opening lap how poor the grip was for the hard tyres on a heavy fuel load. And you can see the time we lost. The guys ahead already. But they're all battling each other, coming into the stadium section for the very first time, where they all support their local hero, Sergio Perez. But I'm not sure where he currently is running. I know it's near the front. Actually, he's set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so he's leading the Grand Prix, is Sergio Perez. So that's fantastic news for him. Anyway, we're getting slipstreamed now by Danny Kvyat down to turn 1. He hasn't got DRS yet available, and he's going to have a look into turn 1, but he can't pull alongside there with his Mercedes engine in the racing point. So we're going to hold position for now as Butler and Giovinazzi going side by side through turn 1. As we now move to lap 4 in this Grand Prix, and Kvyat yet to pass us. We have the DRS following Giovinazzi, who's overtaking Romain Grosjean now, who's starting to fall back in his Renault, and Giovinazzi side by side through the first 3 corners, and he gets the job done. And now we're going to open the DRS, and we're going to use that to get past Romain Grosjean in the Renault and follow our teammate now into 18th place. So Devon Butler has already, well, looks of it, got ahead of that I think is Nico Hulkenberg, so he's on a charge this Grand Prix so far. As we now move to lap 6, we've dropped back from our teammate Giovinazzi. We just can't hang with him on these hard tyres. Kvyat, who's gotten past Grosjean, now overtakes us for P18 in this race on lap 6. So Kvyat through on lap 6 in this Grand Prix. And next up for him is Giovinazzi, and we're going to hopefully try and stick in his DRS, but we failed to do so. And now Romain Grosjean is having a look at us once again on our harder tyres, and we've made a mistake into turn 1. Grosjean goes around the outside, but he takes a poor line through there while overtaking us. Now we have a much better run out of turn 3, and we go back past Romain Grosjean on the straight and move back into 19th place. So next lap around, lap 8, Grosjean once again is overtaking us, and this time he does it a lot more cleaner. He double, I do say that, but he double lock up on the front tyres, but he gets away with it, and he moves up into 19th. So we dropped down to 20th, and I knew we were very much struggling, so a little update in the race. It's now lap 14. Grosjean pitted on lap 12, end of lap 12, and we've just been kind of circulating. You got Perez up ahead in 8th place, as now we have Charles Leclerc, who's already pitted once in this Grand Prix for a medium tyre, so he's on a 2-stop strategy. Leclerc goes down the inside, and to be fair to him, it was a great move by the AOA here, and Leclerc did not expect him to. He wasn't really alongside me going into the braking zone, but he pretty much just outbraked me. But we managed to defend the spot for the time being, but it wasn't going to last much longer. As now on the next lap, Leclerc once again has the DRS here. We're going to defend to the inside, but Leclerc, he's going to take the outside line, and we're going to try and squeeze him to the edge of the circuit. But he's already pretty much ahead, and he outbrakes us into turn 1 and takes away P64 now. So yeah, that was probably a battle on track at this point of the race, but he has 1 stop remaining. This is now going to be a montage of pretty much all the guys who have pitted in this race re-overtaking us. So here goes Lucas Weber. He's gone to the hard tyre, so he's going to the end of the Grand Prix. He gets through. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo, also on the hard tyre, overtaking us here on lap 18. And we missed the apex completely at turn 1. Here now comes Kimi Räikkönen, also on the hard tyre, I think. Or was he on the medium tyre? No, he looks like he's on the harder tyre. He gets past us, and now next lap here is Max Verstappen. He comes through. He is on the medium tyre by the looks of it. He gets through. So next lap here is Gasly now approaching us, and I thought I'm going to defend for once. He's actually not alongside us in the braking zone, but he pretty much just outbrakes us, drives around the outside of us, does Gasly, and gets through. So yeah, this is just us hanging on for dear life. However, at the end of this lap, we are going to come out the end of lap 24. That is our scheduled lap to pit for the soft tyre. We have a huge lock up on the front right tyre. These tyres, they could go another. They could do the whole race if you wanted to, but they're just not a good tyre. The grip from the first lap wasn't very good, and it just made it struggle. And because I had it in lane there, Vettel thought he could get past us into the SS. I didn't realise he was going for an overtake and close the door on that. But anyway, we're going to come in here now and change on to the soft tyres. And yeah, we're pretty much going to come out towards the back, but we're going to hopefully charge home on the best tyres, the youngest tyres in the field, and see if we can score points with it. It's going to be very difficult though. You can see we've dropped down to 18th place, 17th place. It will be 18th when Magnussen comes past us. And you can see we have gotten ahead of the two Renaults, who, even though we were behind both of them when they stopped, they just haven't had any pace, I guess, on their new tyres, and we're actually, it's not even close, we're a long way ahead. Also, we were getting pulled along a little bit with the DRS with some of the quicker guys, which might have helped the lap time a little bit. But anyway, we're now flying through the middle sector, and we're going to set the purple middle sector. As you can see, we're using a little bit more than track, but Lance Stroll is out of the Grand Prix, so that's going to be a disappointment for the Canadian driver, who was pulled off to the side of the track here in the stadium section, and not an ideal way for his Grand Prix to end. Unfortunately, points maybe were on the cards for him today. Not sure exactly where he was running, but yeah, that's one driver less we might have to overtake. I was hoping it would have been nice for a safety car. It would have really helped our strategy, but nonetheless, we're going to go for it now on Kevin Magnussen. We've closed up with the DRS, and we're really gaining here on the straight with DRS in the slipstream, and Magnussen goes to defend to the inside. We're going to go to the outside. We undercut him through turn 1, and now we drive right around the outside through turn 2 and have the inside for turn 3, just showing how much more grip we have than him on these new tyres. And these soft tyres were like the best Christmas present you could open at this stage of the Grand Prix. We set the fastest lap of the race here on lap 28 as we're closing to the pack ahead. We now have our teammate Antonio Giovinazzi and Nico Hülkenberg, who are battling each other quite hard for the last few laps, and we've caught them pretty quickly. And now we're going to overtake Hülkenberg here before the braking zone to turn 1, and now we're going to try and line up our teammate for the run to turn 4. So we get a good run through there, and now we're up in the DRS. He's got DRS off Hülkenberg with the only being one detection zone, but we're going to try and just outbrake him with our fresher tyres. And he's on the hard tyres. We know how poor they were for us earlier in the Grand Prix. We drive right around the outside of him, and we make that move stick. So we move into P14. Now on to lap 30, and we're chasing Danny Kvyat, who's he's having not a bad Grand Prix, but obviously not going to score points today. We've closed up right up with the DRS. We're now going to late attack down to turn 1. Real late on the brakes, locked up the front right tyre, but we get the move done and dusted. So we move into 13th place as we now chase this pack of 4 ahead, which is Norris, Leclerc, and the 2 Mercedes drivers going hammer and tong at it. And you can see the Mercedes side by side. Norris gets ahead of Leclerc here, who's on his 2-stop strategy, and we're just sitting back, and we're going to just take an advantage of where we can find one. And you can see we have a lot more grip than the guys ahead, and we just have a lot more grip on exit compared to Leclerc. We go down the inside into the double right-hander of 6 and 7, and we get the job done there. So move into 12th place. So now we can definitely see that points are available today and on offer with just getting past all these guys. So that's what we're thinking of right now as we now come into the stadium section. You can see Norris is going for it on Bottas, who's been overtaken by his teammate already. Now Norris down the inside, very aggressive on Lando Norris. Doesn't quite work out, and now he's on the wrong side, which will make it the right side for the right-hander actually. And Norris looks like he's going to get ahead coming through the last corner now. Is he going to squeeze off Bottas? Bottas has crashed here in qualifying in real life, but he doesn't manage to do so on this time around. As we now move into the DRS, and we're close behind. It's a double toe pretty much, and look at that. We go through on both of them, and Leclerc is going to get involved. We're going to move back to the racing line to take the best line through turn 1. Lock up on the front right tyre. It's okay. We get past, double overtake, and move into 10th place. So now we're going to chase down Hamilton for 9th place. So move on to lap 33. We're going to open the DRS. This is going to be a simple overtake on Lewis Hamilton here. He's not even going to bother to defend. We're going to stream past him well before the braking zone, and we're going to move into P9 in this Grand Prix, and with our fastest lap that will be 3 points to our name for this race. So this strategy, although it looked doom and gloom in the first half of the Grand Prix, we've come alive here in the second half of this race, as we now hear Sergio Perez has retired from the Grand Prix. The hearts of the Mexican grandstand have been shattered here, as their local hero is now out of the Grand Prix. He was running quite well. I'm not sure exactly where he was running. It's such a shame. He's going to get a salute from the grandstand, I'm sure, pulling off to the side of the road where Stroll did earlier. But for him, it's going to be a much louder cheer in the grandstand of where his Mexican fans adore him. So that's unfortunate for Sergio Perez. as we now come to the last lap of the Grand Prix, as Max Verstappen comes home to win his 9th race of the season to extend his championship lead. Pierre Gasly second, Lucas Weber in third, and we today are going to come home across the finishing line here in Mexico to finish in 8th place to pick up 5 points, including a fastest lap. So not a bad result here in Mexico, considering the circumstances of qualifying on Saturday. So yeah, not a bad race, but we'll take it what we can get.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
My driver of the day was Devon Butler. He did an amazing job pushing through the field, cementing his growing reputation for ruthlessly running down those top positions.
The Constructors' Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. And it's another title in the bag for Red Bull. After a long and hard-fought season, they've built an astonishing car this year, and the glory they'll be taking back to Milton Keynes is fully deserved. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So that was your Mexican Grand Prix here today, guys. Max Verstappen wins his 9th race of the season to extend his championship lead to 28 points. And with Red Bull taking another 1-2, they've actually cemented the Constructors' Championship. Their lead now in the Constructors is insurmountable, with 233-point lead in the Constructors, as you can see here, though Verstappen with the lead. But, we finished 8th place today. Not a bad result for us, I think, considering we started last, 17th actually. And we're able to work our way through the grid. I didn't realise, though, Devon Butler finished 6th in this race from starting 20th as well, which is interesting. So, you can see, though, where the pecking order lies at the minute with Red Bull, Alfa, and then Williams. Sergio Perez, I might have been winning. I'm not sure where he was coming exactly, but he might have been winning this Grand Prix when he retired. That's a shame for him. We closed it down to 12 points between me and him and the drivers, so hopefully we can maybe beat him out for that spot, but it's going to be very difficult. And in the Constructors, I think Williams are going to be very difficult to pass, so it looks like that's going to be all but cemented. Red Bull, obviously, just the dominant force. Ferrari is still second, but I don't think that will... We'll see if that lasts. Raikkonen's poor season kind of held Alfa Romeo back, and same as for Valtteri Bottas, that's held Mercedes back, because Hamilton's still third in the Drivers' Championship. But not that much ahead of Lucas Weber, who is closing towards the end. And we are coming now to the end of this Grand Prix. We're going to upgrade or fix the development part for the aero, and then I decided we previously fixed the chassis part. I did that after the last race when it failed. But anyway, yeah. So I did this chassis development, and straight away I thought, why didn't I develop something on the engine? I didn't realise I had a minor upgrade available on the engine to do. So that's my bad. And yeah. Anyway, we'll go to the next race in America. Hopefully, looking for a much better result on Saturday at least, and that will make it easy on the Sunday. And hopefully with those two upgraded bits, that helps our performance out. And but anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for plenty more content, Until then, goodbye.